Hello everyone, Normal Player Guy here and welcome back. Now today's video will be the STR Top 20 Most Helpful Units. Now remember, this will only be global main and I'll try not to make it too LR heavy. So I'll make this a bit of a different format. Rather than having over 20 tabs open and busting my PC, I'm just going to do a very brief few bullet points on the first top 10 and then we can talk a bit more into the top 10. So first off, your next first four will be LR Freezer, Metal Rildo, Second Form Cell, and Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta. Now he is in particular is in the same spot as his counterpart, purely just because anyone who's just a hard heavy hitter doesn't necessarily always mean they are going to come out on top. For your first one though, Metal Rildo, it's very difficult to actually choose out off the top 20, let alone top 10. Because almost everyone can be very useful in their own right. But for this guy, Metal Rildo is very good for GT bosses. That's realistically the only way you'll actually ever use him. His leader skill is usable in Battlefield as well, as he has 100% of stats for STR type. He does greatly raise defense, that's a 50% raise for one turn on his super attack effect. He stacks attack and he lowers the enemy attack. And he's a good support as well. He has a good support, I believe, of something like 3 key, 40%. He does have Big Bad Bosses, Thirst for Conquest, and Metamorphosis, and GT, so he will help real well with the Shadow Dragons. He does as well have against a GT hero category enemy, he will be super effective against all types, and he will be 50-50 when applicable to actually stun any of them. You think for the GT Goku event, if you're going to use him somewhere in that, where applicable, maybe in the early starts, he's going to have a 50-50 chance to stun. And if you used him in the Shadow Dragon Saga Super Battle Road, you might be able to get it off there as well. Outside all of that, he's very, very limited, but due to the fact that he's a must-run and a great support alongside a very small and not really well-developed team, he's on the list. Your next one will be LR First Form Freezer. This guy is just a really good partner for almost everyone, just given his link sets. His leader skill is really good for new players as he's extreme class. I believe it's 3 key and 90% of stats. He greatly raises defense and attack on his 12 key for the turn, and his 18 key lowers enemy attack and defense. So he has a good start of turn stats. It's around 40%. Which, given the fact that he's got LR stats, isn't too bad. You might want to think he might want to have a bit more, but it's okay. So, in slot 1 and 3, he gains an additional 3 key and an attack buff. And he gains an additional 3 key regardless if you're against a super class enemy. Now, in addition to the 3 key in slots 1 and 3, he also gets 50% defense in those slots, but on attack, which means you're probably best running him in slot 3. He does have super powerful links across the board. He has Big Bad Bosses, Thirst for Conquest, Metamorphosis, and of course LR Power. He's a fantastic partner to all the other freezers, specifically the AGL Namek Saga one. And that's not too long just gone past. Overall, this guy is hitting out somewhere across the line of 6 million attack stats and over 300k defense. And that's just before he double supers. All around, he's a very good floater. Your next one is Second Form Cell. Now, again, very limited. Realistically, you're only really going to be using him on the Cell Saga. And his entire kit is really based around that. Even more limiting that it's based around the Extreme Class versions, Extreme Class allies in the Cell Saga. So his leader skill is reasonably good for new players, as it's Cell Saga across the board. He has a big 180% attack and defense on super attack. You factor in that he greatly raises attack for one turn on his super attack. You put a bit of investment into him, he is actually putting up some good numbers. He's ready for slot 2 or 3. So within slot 2 or 3, with his 3 key 40% attack to extreme class Cell Saga allies, he's really good with any LR cell, especially the new physical one who's just had his EZA, as they both have Big Bad Bosses, they both have Ultimate Lightform and Fierce Battle. So alongside that, the reason why he's also really good in this, again, he will really help you out in a must run for all the Cell Sagas, is that he reduces damage by 18%, and then he has an 18% crit chance against any Cell Saga enemy. Not only that, but he has a 50-50 chance to stun any android at the start of turn. That's just any android. As I say, all around, he's really well good designed, fantastic partner for some really great units, but very limited to his team. Overall, that's the reason why he's on here. The next one is Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta. Much like his AGL counterpart, he's very, very good, even more so with his EZA. The biggest thing of his EZA is now he gets defense on his 12 key. I still feel like maybe they shortchanged him, considering that the Goku counterpart massively raises defense on his 12 and 18 key, and this guy just gets 30% now on his 12 key. Feels a bit short-handed. So as I say, he has a really good battlefield lead, and that's a 120% to stats. So on top of his 30% to his 12 key for his defense, he still does, as usually, get the massive lead raise for his attack and defense on his 18 key. So he has a large starter for turn attack and defense, that's 140%, which actually helps out a lot. Now that is a lot considering he only gets 30%. If you factor in that the AGL Goku has the similar thing, he still comes off shortchanged, but he's still good. He actually builds more defense though as the turn goes on. As per turn, he gets 30% attack and 60% defense, so it's 10% per all the way up to. So he can build that up quite a lot. Also, one of the other biggest things going for him on his EZA in particular is he gets 1 key per non-STR Rainbow Orb. So now AGL, Tech, Int, and Physical will now generate 2 instead of 1, really making it easy to get that 18 key. Really seems like they want you to do that. Now, of course, much like the AGL Super Saiyan 4 Goku, if he has 24 key, he will nullify the next enemy action, which seems to be the new special ability, the new special effect that's coming into play. That's also really good if you can get it off. He has strong Saiyan and GT links, and of course, probably one of the easiest to use active skill. Turn 4 or later, and boom, away you go, active skill. Now, that's your bottom 4, all really good in their own right. So your next lot now, the next lot that are going to come up will be, so we got Janemba, and we have the Trunks from the movie support, and we have the 2 Boos, we have the new one, and we have the fat one, and we have Videl, and we have Goku. Xeno Super Saiyan 3 Goku. So in particular for this one. So for Fat Boo, let's just start with Fat Boo. So for Fat Boo, his use is on the limited side, and his kit is even limited. He's probably due for an EZA if anything that has one. So he's an orb changer outright off the bat. He changes int to STR, and he gets 10% per STR orb achieved. So he can heal up quite a bit. He can be rather tanky, especially in the margin power. Now, realistically as well, given his links, you are going to run him only in margin power and one other, but I'll touch on that in a sec. So his super attack is an AoE, and he can stun. However, it's only 15% chance to stun, but it is a 15% chance to stun per enemy. Now, again, where this guy can come in particularly useful is a floater in Super Battle Road for the prior turn, unless you get a lot of orbs, or the other one I was talking about, the other mode, is Tournament. So those who run a full power Dragon Ball Super Broly, they can run this guy along with him. Changes the STR orbs, really helpful for the other LR Broly, but in particular, as he's an AoE and can sweep the field, you can also get stuns off, especially onto the AGL counterparts in the higher level. Really, that's his only use. He's still pretty good, and I'd like to see more come out of him, and we could probably get a new top tier version of him coming out in the future, but he is still low-key pretty good. So the next one is Kid Buu. Now this is the new one. Now I debated putting him into the A tier, but I just thought off his overall kit, he just doesn't quite cut the bill. He's got a very strong leader skill, and that's Majin Buu and Battle of Fate. He has a powerful start of return attack and defense. That's 180% and 3 key. In addition to that, he gets 30% to stats per attack made. So that's 120%. That's attack and defense, actually. He gets 30% attack and defense per attack done. So that's 4 attacks. Now, he does have guaranteed normal attacks with a 30% chance to become a super attack. So you don't need it to become a super attack. Per attack helps. And he does get 30% on super. And he also has 30% to stun, which is what makes this guy useful. I think just that alone was probably going to almost put him into the A tier. So raises defense and has a chance to stun and has 108% at start of turn and build to 120% extra. One of his best ones is that he heals at the end of every turn. If he got hit, he heals 20% right off the bat. If you had him and the guest, that's 40% of your health back there and then. You think about the other margin links in the margin power one, where you also get a little bit of heal alongside any of the other margin boos that actually heal as it comes onto the turbo and super attack effects. You'll find that he works real well in there. He has big bad bosses, and he's a must run on every single category except for maybe storied figures. He does fit into well. Now, his active skill is okay to get, so he needs to receive attack 6 times, or if it's against a Margin Buu Saga enemy, and you can find that in the Ultimate Gohan EZA, you can transform straight away. Well, active skill straight away, and he's a 20% stats, which can really help at the start of battle. I've been using him in the Ultimate Gohan EZA, and he's able to just pop that straight away. Prior to that, he's got to get 6 attacks. Not the best. This guy's really powerful. I have him with 1 dupe, and he's putting out almost 6 million within the third turn, so that's only his second rotation. So the next one coming up now, we're going to have Janemba. So Janemba, he's very limited. This one's very limited, much like the Int one, who could probably feature into the Int types. This guy, so he does guard all attacks, which is not too bad, and he does have 100% at start of turn, also not too bad. He just seems just a bit still on the underwhelming side. He's got a great leader skill for Battlefield. That's 130% to the extreme STR type. And of course, he has and so what's also good about him as well is even though he's a bit limited, he has a 30% chance to dodge. Now he gets 10% extra dodge per attack dodged in the same turn. So he starts off with 30 and it incrementally gets much more all the way up to your max. Of course, you're not going to get all the way up to the max, but it is nice. So you get lucky and you get 1 or 2 dodges off, and you're already up to 50%. Then he's off to the races and he's dodging all over. He's crucial in Corroded Body and Mind. I think all the Janembas are in that team. That team is very limited. So with the transformed version of the Tech one, I believe he shares, if not all links, 6 links. And with the LR, he doesn't really share any links because they're the same unit. So his best partner would be the transformed Tech variant, which was on the first video. He does have Big Bad Bosses and Metamorphosis, which really helps got going for him. Also on the limited side going for him, whilst he has a good attack and defense at start of turn, whilst he can guard and dodge, that's it. There's nothing else in his passive. So now going on for the next one, we now have Trunks from the movie. So he's got a good leader skill, Hybrid Saiyans. Anyone who's on the newer side and doesn't have one, there you go. So he has 2 effects on his super attack, pending whether or not you have a certain character. It's called a unit super attack, and that's with a youth Gohan. Basically, it's a Cell Saga Gohan. So he raises 30% to a attack and defense on his super attack, but he stacks defense with a Gohan youth. Now also he has a 30% chance to stun on super attack, but it's a 50% chance to stun with the Gohan youth. He has a massive 200% at start of turn. He has a 30% chance to do an additional super attack. That's just outright. And he's a Hybrid Saiyans 3 key, 40% stats. Now, he's really good on Hybrid Saiyans, but he's also limited to Hybrid Saiyans purely because half his passive is around that. And his unit super attack, where you've got to stack that defense, and the better stun chance is with Hybrid Saiyans. But then again, you look at Hybrid Saiyans, and it's probably one of the most powerful teams out there. So you ain't exactly going to find that a bit of any deficit in any capacity. Now, quickly moving on, you got Videl. Now, Vidal's on here. Now, anyone who's got Videl, anyone who's used Videl will know why she's on here. It's very, very close, putting her alone in A tier. But just not quite she just not quite fits in with a lot of the teams, and you're realistically only going to run her on a Majin Buu saga with a Gohan as well. So she has a powerful leader skill, and that's 4 key, 170% of stats to both Peppy Gals and Defenders of Justice. Anyone struggling to do the Extreme Super Battle Road for Peppy Gals or just Defenders of Justice in Super Battle Road, which can be tough given that the category just isn't as top heavy as would imagine, she helps out far too much. So she stacks attack and raises defense by 30% on super attack. She has a strong start of turn attack and defense. Now, before she attacks, she has a 50-50 chance to dodge. Now, after she dodges one of those, she's super effective against all types. If she's hit once before she attacks, she has a massive 58% attack buff. And in slot 1 or 2, she has a guaranteed additional super attack. Now, you've got to get a super attack for it to be a guaranteed additional super attack. Now, she stacks attack, and as she dodges, she gets an attack buff. If she gets hit once, she gets an attack buff, and she's super effective against all types. Now, she gets an additional 58% attack and still a 50-50 chance to dodge as the third attacker in a turn. So she's useful everywhere, absolutely everywhere. You can quite easily dodge the most crucial attacks, get hit once just to trigger the super effective against all types for one dodge, and trigger after being hit once more attack, and she's quite easily putting out ridiculous numbers with defense touching 300k. So her active skill is a 20% attack and 20% negative defense. That's on the fourth turn with a Gohan, and that's not necessarily an ultimate Gohan, it's just a Majin Buu Saga Gohan. Another one of her downsides, though, as well, is you ain't going to get many links to trigger, as half her links are actually related around Hercule. So that ain't going to happen. But prior to that, slot 1, 2, or 3, she's just going to dodge, super effective against all types, actually put out a lot of attack. Now, the final one for the B tier before we go into the top 10 would be the Xeno Super Saiyan 3 Goku. Odd that he's on here, but listen out. So he has a reasonable leader skill, and that's a 120% to stats 3 key for Dragon Ball Heroes. I have none of them myself, not one of them, and I did summon on the banner, just a little bit, but there are plenty of the 3 key 120%. Some of them even have 130%. Some have 150. So if you have some of them, I believe the Broly, the Super Saiyan 4 Broly, probably has one of the better ones, though I believe that's crossover, which again, this guy can work on. So he has a good leader skill, although a bit on the smaller side, 120%. So his super attack is a 50% chance to stun. That's already pretty good. He has a good start of turn stats, 100% to attack and defense. That's pretty good. And he guards, all pretty good. So far, 50% chance to stun and guards. Sounds a lot like Janemba, realistically. So he has a big 50% attack buff on super attack. Now, by himself, he reduces only 7% damage, which is not a lot. But where he's truly coming into play, he gets an additional 7% per heroes category ally on the team. That's 35% damage reduction. So you think he guards, he has all this damage reduction. That's his true value. And I think that's why he's on here. So he can hold himself with his guard and his stuns, but considering the Heroes is a small one-time festival bonanza that happens, and it's such a smaller, not many people are going to have it, not many people are going to have a well-invested category, he is a must-run. One of his best partners is going to be the AGL Super Saiyan 3 Trunks, as he has both Over the Flash and Limit Break in form, making it useful for Super Saiyan 3 and crossovers and heroes. The downside is Super Saiyan 3 crossover heroes, and realistically, you're only going to use them on them as well. Don't try and use them on Goku Family. Don't try and use them on some of the others, because you just ain't going to get there. But now we're going to go into the top 10. So that was pretty quick, so we can now go into why the top 10 is quite as they are for the most helpful. This and some of the others that I will upload are one of the hardest Heading up now, we can pretty much tell by now who is the top 10. This is in no particular order. I'm just dragging these up here. So we got LR Broly. Now that's after his EZA. That is LR Goku, God Goku and Hit. That is Super Vegeta. That is Cooler. That is B-Pan, LR B-Pan. That is a Super Saiyan Gohan from the tournament. And that's from the tournament banner. It's LR STR Vegito, Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta, Whis, and UI Goku. Now, I think we can all agree that's probably correct, even if it's not in any particular order. Having a look, we've got the God Goku and Hit, who have a really solid leader skill. That's Accelerated Battle and Universal Survival Saga. The Universal Survival Saga is a very large, very powerful team. You can use a lot of people on there. So they raise attack and defense 1 turn with a 50% chance to stun. And of course, if you have them triggered with the unit attack partner, that's a greatly raise and still 50% chance to stun. So of course they have a massive 170% at start of turn. You factor in these guys have LR stats. I believe they have, touching around, with 2 dupes, they're touching around 170k defense at start of turn. They're touching almost 200 prior to a rainbow. So you get 6 key, 60% attack and defense, guaranteed to hit, disables guard, and a 50% chance of dodging any attack as the first or second. That's quite a lot. Half his passive right here alone is the first or second. He does quite a lot. That's insane. You can put him in slot 1. You can put him in slot 1. He is the first attacker in the turn. Ideally, you want him in here. You can put him in this. But as the first attacker, he's got guaranteed to hit, can hit AGL opponents, and a 50-50 chance of dodge. And 6 key, which means you'll never ever struggle to get a super attack. Now, if you're in slot 3, you get 70% attack when attacking, 7 key, and launches an additional attack that has a 30% chance of coming a super attack. So if you wanted to see this guy's active skill, which is 3 or more super attacks, you're going to want him in turn 3. Now that is still a turn 4 scenario, because turn 3 will float him off. So if you have him turn 1, you still ain't seeing him for turn 4. This one is really, really powerful. It is a yellow coin banner LR, so you probably would be best for most free-to-play players not to do that, not to even attempt on that banner, but to try and pull your luck into the ticket LR banners coming up in the 7th anniversary, where I believe for around 300 stones, I think it was, maybe 350 stones, you get 3 guaranteed LRs, and there's a ticket version. So you can count yourself and your chances high, you can actually have a good chance. Now that's a 13% attack and defense, no key though, into the battle. That's really, really powerful considering they've got 170% at start of turn. One of the best units going out, one of the best STR units outright going out. If you have this guy, he's just hitting so hard, he dodges, he's got infinite amount of key, and they work really, really well on Tournament of Power. And my computer wants to crash, but it works really, really well on Tournament of Power, Join Forces, and Legendary Existence, and of course his own Accelerated Battle. Next one. And this one will be Broly, when my computer decides to work. Here we go. So Broly, now we're talking about his EZA. Prior to that, his only use was the tournament. Everyone knows just how well he was in the tournament. You had him as a guest, you had him as your team and a guest, and he just wiped the field. Now though, way, way better. He does have a good leader skill for Battlefield. 4 key, 120% stats. In some ways that beats Janemba's, which is only 3 key, but 130%. So, raises attack and defense for 1 turn, which is a 30% raise on his super attack. You think prior to that, he didn't do that. Prior to that, nothing. In fact, his passive was actually pretty rubbish. Now, he does quite a lot more. Of all the LR EZAs, he has been treated the most favourably. But then again, I think everyone in the community likes Broly. So even his 18 key still raises 30% for 1 turn. Now he has still the guaranteed additional super attack, when you perform a super attack. He has 50% at start of turn. That's okay, actually. It's better than you think. Now, he gets an additional 50% attack and defense when he launches that super attack, so he's up to 100% plus this again when he gets that additional one. Now, here's where the true kicker comes in. So he gets 5 key if there's a pure hybrid Saiyans category enemy, which you're going to see that almost all the time. But if there's a Goku family enemy, he's super effective against all types. And that just means that half the game, a very good portion of the game, is against pure hybrid Saiyans. You're going to get 5 key. You're not going to struggle for super attacks. And of course, a Goku family is pretty often. You think about the Fighting Legend Goku events and the GT one, you're going to be super effective all the way through. And you're going to be getting no struggle for super attacks on the Vegeta variant. And even though there aren't that many Pure Saiyans or Hybrid Saiyans going on the movie boss Super Battle Road, he can still hold his own on there. His 12 key is an AoE, so that's not too bad. And his 18 key is just to one enemy. Realistically, this guy's value is probably the AoE. Because on Super Battle Road, you can just do damage to everyone, and then you do an additional damage to everyone. And then if you're lucky and the hidden potential system comes in, you've got more coming in. So that's 30% raises. He gets 50% when he supers. This guy, I don't know what they did, but Brody got all the love. This is the reason why he's on here as the top 10. He's just, you'd say that, I would say that, would you compare him to Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta, where he was down on the bottom just because he was a power hitter? But then this Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta just didn't do what Brody does. He doesn't get a lot of ki against a certain enemy. He's not super effective against all types, against a large chunk, and he doesn't have a guaranteed additional super attack. Never mind what he does for the tournament still. You thought he was good in the tournament before, he's even better now. So your next one. Now this guy's on the older side, probably one of the oldest in here, but I'm still a big fan of this guy. Cooler. Whether you want him in this form or you want him in his final form, he's still really, really good. He still has a good leader skill, and that's Terrifying Conquerors and Transformation Boost. He still lowers attack and defense by 20%. I believe it's 20%. It should be 20% per super attack. It is 20% per super attack. And you can, so it really helps in Super Battle Road. He has a nice 100% start of turn, transformation boost category allies, 2 key 30% stats against one enemy, and Terrifying Conquerors, a larger, more broad, more villainous team, has 2 key 50% attack and defense against 2 or more enemies. Super Battle Road made right there. That's it for himself. Now, 100% for this guy on the older side, even though he can lower the enemy's attack, bit squishy. He, with Big Bad Bosses at level 10 alongside Thirst for Conquest, you're still looking at around 80 to 90k, maybe a bit less if you don't have any dupes. Even at Rainbow, probably looking at about 120, 130k, which is not a lot considering he doesn't get any extra defense in there and he relies on support. But he's very good as his support here. He gives support. However, in his final form is where it really helps out. So off the bat, I think we just have to just say that he just guarantees crits against pure or hybrid Saiyans. And that's probably the reason why he's on here. He has 180% instead of 100. Big jump up. That actually puts him at Rainbow level, close to 200k, and if you have no dupes, he's touching around 150k, which is enough to tank in Super Battle Road. Not a lot, especially not type disadvantage, but you can survive. So he has 180%. He launches an additional attack that has a 30% chance to become a super attack. You factor it, you can just go pure additionals on this guy because he guaranteed crits and he lowers attack on the previous form. So you can get 3 supers. That's 3 crits against a pure hybrid Saiyan. He has Thirst for Conquest. He he has Metamorphosis, he has Big Bad Bosses, and he has Fierce Battle. The the first three are the holy trifactor, the holy trinity of links for villains. This guy, while he might be the oldest, I'm pretty sure everyone will agree with me, he's one of the most useful going. Whether in this form, and he supports everyone, or if you're against a certain type of enemy, you crit against them. Now again, squishy, but powerful, Glass Cannon. Your next one, which is probably very obvious, I'd imagine they're all very obvious from this point on, is LRB Pan. Now, even before her awakening, she was useful, but now she's even better. You ain't going to bother with her leader skill. And realistically, you ain't going to try for that stun chance on that super attack. What you use this girl for is you use her for the damage reduction of 55% and 33% damage back if whenever she does an attack. So you go for no dodge, all additionals and crits, and you are getting all your health back. Absolutely all. There's quite a fair chance, unless you've got type disadvantage, even still, unless you've got type disadvantage or you use her in the easy A's where her typing just isn't going to do any damage, she's still going to put out a couple of 100,000. But that's still more than 100,000 back, which keeps you in the game. Realistically, though, she'll put out only around 1.5 million, realistically. But that's still 500k back, and that still full heals you. However, one of her also biggest attributes is this active skill. This active skill from the third turn, much like the Super Saiyan 4s, you just reach the third turn, and that's it. You get a 33% attack. Now, this actually does affect her as well. So she has a greatly raised attack if you happen to get the 18 key. She also raises her own attack, and more importantly, she will just recover 33% of any damage dealt back to you as HP. You are going to heal fully with this girl. There's just no doubt. And believe it or not, this one is free to play. It took a while for them to even do anything remotely good with her with the extreme awakening. That was only last year for us. Still one of the best units going. Your next one is now this one. A lot of people might not even know or even have this guy or be aware that they've got this one. He's a free-to-play unit from the World Tournament banner. That's why I called him the Super Saiyan Gohan Tournament. So I've used him in some of the most difficult content going on global, and he's just outright good. So he has a 30% chance to stun the enemy. He has attack and defense of 58%, which is good because he also reduces damage by 58%. Had he just had the damage reduction, he'd be rubbish. It's his attack and defense that actually complements that. And of course, any superclass allies, 2 key, 30% attack. And you will find that on any of his links. In particular, you will find most helpful in siblings, hybrid Saiyans, and defenders of justice. Everything else, you don't need everything else. All the other categories are just too powerful. Not necessary on there, but he's a nice complement. He can take type disadvantage even in the Gods of Destruction, although don't push your luck with that. He can take a couple of hits. Can't be a super attack though. But this guy can go into the Gods of Destruction on a Majin Buu Saga team, which I think by now we've either run a Rep 7 and dodged, or we've done Majin Buu and Pop Vegeto's Scouter. And this guy's basically going to be up there with him. I've used him in every single difficult content. He has got me through all the time. You don't necessarily need to get him a super attack, or if you do, there's a 30% chance you're going to get that stun. Don't need to get it though. He's there just to absorb some blows. He is a must run though on siblings, justice, and hybrids. And that's the reason why he's on here. Pretty simple. No need to explain more. Your next one. I'm pretty sure we could have guessed. I wonder if people would have thought this would be the last one. No. You could probably have a guess who's the last one. So this guy, Majin Buu Saga category. So when this game came out, he completely changed the game. Kind of a lot like how Super Gogeta came out, or how the physical Vegito Blue came out. Real big power creep, completely changed the game. So, very easy to get key. He gets extra key per type key sphere. And he has a 30% chance of launching an additional super attack, which is good because he raises it by 30%. per super attack performed. So you can get 3 super attacks proccing his hidden potential system. That's pretty much all he does. Now, if you get this, which is actually fairly easy to get, from the 4th turn, which will be if you float him off by the time he comes back and your health is under 70%, or then which is much, much easier than the Gogeta's counterpart, which is 70% or more, you're far more likely to get this. He turns into this. This guy is an absolute demon, an absolute powerhouse. Now, weirdly enough, he actually becomes less defensive in many ways. That's probably largely because he loses his damage reduction. So he gains 50% of his health back after he transforms. He has a big 150% at start of turn and a 30% chance of performing a crit. His counters, if you do crits, do, as it says, tremendous power. That's like super attack level power. On a crit, I believe he can put out close to 2 million on a crit, and it's nice to see that animation as well, because he basically kicks you in the face, which is nice. But one of the best things he got going for him is he foresees the super attacks for 10 turns. Now, this is the reason why he is better than the Gogeta one, because he only has 5 turns, so we got shortchanged. And of course, he has crits there built in as well. It's just better. While the other one has a great chance to crit as well in his passive, this guy's just got counter crits, and he has a 30% chance of critting, and 10 turns for super attacks. Now, you still get 30% on each super attack. You do possibly get your hidden potential to pop more out. Now, you are going to be weaker than the base form. If you wanted to play safe, you go there. You would transform into one of the final stages where you needed some extra power, and you could super attack first, where you could really just hold your own and get the hits in. Now, in the Gods of Destruction event, which is still one of the hardest ones to do for global, if you get this guy out, you are not using him to get in harm's way. You are using him only to see where the super attacks are. Now, again, like Gogeta, you can actually cheese it. You could pop his skill, see where the super attack is, restart the app. Hey, you know where to go. This guy can pile a lot of damage, but can take a lot of damage. He's really good on Final Trump. He's really good on Majin Buu, especially good on Potara, which has had very little help into it. There are a couple of those 2 base Vegetos, the Tech and the Int, who have been a big help, but Potara still needs the help. You don't need him on Kamehameha. You don't need him on Accelerated Battle, but you can use him on Fuse Fighters. Fuse Fighters is the new one on the 7th anniversary, but he's really good on Joint Forces. He's really good on Super Saiyans. He's really good on Kamehameha, Final Trump card. So all of these you could use him alongside his counterpart, where he will share a lot of links, and together they are some of the best rotations going. This guy with his crits and his super attack for seeing versus this guy, this one, with his damage reduction and his better overall defense. Your next one is Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta, possibly the oldest card on here. Now, before his EZA, he was still good. Now it's even better. I believe you only had it for 7 or 8 turns. You had it for 7 turns. Now you get it for a full 10. Before, it's still 80%. Yeah, it's still 80%. He does have a 50% chance to stun. Now that is at SA14 or higher, so you've got to get there. And prior to that, it's still a 50-50. That's fine. So he still has a 50-50 chance of stunning the enemy. Really, really good. And you're going to want you want to go for that. Now, he reduces damage for 10 turns, but that's as far as he goes. Do not even attempt to go any further, because he has no start of turn defense. He has no start of turn attack. In fact, his only attack buff is if the target enemy is stunned. You will predominantly use him just to absorb all the attacks. Now, as time goes on, as the events get harder, he actually does end up taking damage, but that's because he has no start of turn stats. So if you had some support on there, let's just say, for example, you're using him on the Mono STR, and you had Ultimate Gohan on the same rotation where he gives 40% defense. Then he's got 40% defense and damage reduction. Then he's looking great. But just on its own, he's beginning to drop off quite a lot. But there's absolutely no doubt that this guy has been everyone's go-to for Super Saiyan 3, Pure Saiyans, Vegeta family. In fact, everything on there. And probably not so much beyond Super Saiyan, which is the new one coming out in July. But every one of those others, if you can use him in under 10 turns, he is the first one on that list. So we're now coming down into the top 4. So now we got Super Vegeta, the new one. So realistically, we're looking at Pure Saiyans. That's his best use on. So his leader skill of Pure Saiyans. It has been trumped by Blue Vegeta, who is 170% across the board. But this guy versus that Blue Vegeta, it depends on how you're going to build a Realm of Gods or you're going to build a Super Saiyan based. But of course, there ain't really no doubts about who's better when it comes to the super attack, because as you can see, it crits everything for one turn. Every super attack is a crit. Now he has this start of turn. He has this, so he gets 250% attack with guaranteed crits. That's the best thing that he's got. So this guy gets an additional attack and defense within the same turn after receiving attack on top of that, on top of his 150% stats. So if he gets hit once, he gets 200%. If he then does a super attack, he gets 250%. Now this guy's best ability is probably in slot 3, where you don't take that hit, because it resets at the turn, because you don't really want to risk getting that hit. But you can stick him in there if you wish, but he's still going to take a bit of damage, so probably throw him best at the end. So one of his final bits as well is he stuns the attacked enemy's character's super attack. So this is per turn, once only. Whoever he hits, he will stun. Well, the super attack, well, basically it's not so much a stun, it's a seal. So anyone who's stunned will be sealed. That's once per turn if you can get it to trigger. So his active skill, 50% or more starting from the 5th turn, or if the character receives one attack from someone whose names includes Cell. Ain't going to get that. So you're going to get that from the 5th turn or more. HP is 50% or more. That's the best thing he's going to get. He gets 5p at 50% attack for one turn. That is actually supposed to complement this and this. So if you get that 5th turn, if you get to there, this guy is going to be putting out some of the highest attack stats you've got. And it's crits, which means it's going to do even more damage than you think it is. Going for his teams, he's good on Pure Saiyans, he's good on Full Power, very good on Vegeta Family. Super Saiyans he can be really good on. Worthy rivals alongside Gifted Warriors and Mastered Evolution. These are the ones that are the Vegeta's based, like the Vegeta links. These are like the Vegeta based teams. Really good on that. Coming down into your top 3, any one of these are the same. Well, top 2 really, sorry, top 2. Coming into your top 2, you've got Whis. So, with Whis, you've got Bond of Master and Disciple. So with Whis, we have Bonder and Master and Disciple and 3 key 120% stats. So if you don't have that Bonder and Master and Disciple, I believe that, no, that's not Piccolo. I actually can't remember. Oh, no. No, I can't remember at the top of my head who Bonder and Master and Disciple is. But if you have not got the lead, this would be a good one. So this is a very good utility, very good support. He seals and lowers the attack and defense of the enemies. So you really want to get him a super attack. But he is, much like the number 1 unit coming into this, he has a 70% chance of dodging any attack. And for every attack dodged, 50% defense within the same turn. It resets at the end of every turn. The first attack you want to dodge. That's the most important. And then from then on, he's good. He gets exponentially more defense. Now, he is really, really good as he can. So he's really good in battlefield, where in some parts of the battlefield you need a unit that can seal, or you can lower the attack off some enemies. He's really good in there. So you want to do kind of prioritize something in there. Now the last bit is purely for Iberus, and I believe he's realistically we're talking about either LR Beerus or we're talking about the physical one. So all allies get 50% attack, and he recovers 10% HP if there's a Beerus in there. Now, that realistically is very niche, and that's exclusive to the Realm of Gods. But prior to that, it's the first half here. That's what you're looking at. It's his 70% chance to dodge, and he gets extra defense. You can put him in turn 1, slot 1, there's absolutely not a problem. The fact that he seals, or if that's not applicable, lowers attack, that's where we're coming into play. Now your final one, the final one, and this doesn't mean number one, but let's be honest, he probably is up there as number one. And that's UI Goku. Still fantastic. Still can put out over 6 million attack stats and still can have close to 300k defense if he's got a few dupes and he's got his passive all built up. Now, it's Realm of Gods, 4 key 130% of stats. You don't want to use that. It's his secondary. That's a battlefield leader. That's a good one. So, disables enemy guard, which basically means AGL units won't slow him down. And of course, he has 77% at start of turn. Not great, not the best, but it's not terrible either. And for an LR stat, that's good. 70% chance of evading any attack. That's for 7 turns. It then goes down to 50% from the 8th turn. So that's still really good, unlike Whis, who has it all the time. But still, 70% chance, and then he gains 1 key, 11% attack and defense per each one dodged, up to 77. So that's 7 key, almost infinite supers, and then you got 77% attack and defense as he stacks it up. So you got 77% attack and defense. You got an additional 77% attack and defense. That's 144. So that was 154. So he has 154% attack and defense, which then he's looking good. But by then he has a 50% chance to dodge, and the key aspect of this guy is the great chance to dodge. Still really, really good, but much like the AGL UI, you just know that 30% is going to haunt people. Now, he also shares a lot of the links with the AGL UI, making this duo one of the best going. You can use them in Realm of Gods, Universal Survival Saga, Pure Saiyans, and Rep 7 Super Battle Road, even in Extreme Super Battle Road. You'll have to eat your heart out that they actually do get the dodge, but there's 3 UI Gokus you can use in all of those stages. And that's what makes this guy probably one of the best going, most helpful units. He's a Realm of Gods leader. He's a Super STR leader. He will just pretty much dodge. He builds it up. Now, pound for pound, start of turn, the AGL one's probably going to be your go-to hard hitter, especially the fact that that guy has crit chance, 50% per super, and it stacks. Whether this guy, he just isn't slowed down by any typing, but he builds it up. Towards the end, this guy's probably better outside of the crits. No doubt saying though that in any of these, especially Legendary Existence, which is a small one, and Powerful Comeback, which is a small category, and Miraculous Awakenings also there. Turtle School, not many in that. Kamehameha, you don't necessarily need it. Goku Family, now again, alongside Goku Family and Pure Saiyans and Universal Survival Saga, you can make the 3 UIs in there. Rep 7, you can make the Holy Trinity of the 3 UIs and just have dodges. Realm of Gods, you can do the exact same thing and just have him dominate them. This guy, if you have him, alongside the AGL one, will help you in the most difficult of content. But eat your heart out for that 30%. That, everyone, is hopefully agreeable for the top 20 most helpful STR units. Now, if you have any other units that you thought might have been on there, please let me know. But it was also very, very difficult to choose between, as there's over 50 units, and they each do something special. But I had to try and find who was best around their versatility, usability, and how good they are per team. Anyway, I hope you found this video good. I hope you found this video amusing at the very least. Otherwise, thank you and goodbye.